Hey guys, we're live. Sorry, I had a little technical difficulty. I plugged in something late and it caused my camera to disappear. So I've been doing some troubleshooting there real quick, but it looks like we're good to go. Welcome to Two Line Slot Cars, Tuesdays at Two Line Slot Cars. Guys, I'm excited about being on the live stream tonight. Oh, let me throw my headphones on. There we go. I'm a little out of sorts. Still recovering from SEMA. As you can tell, my voice is a little deeper. Kind of went out there to Vegas and got a little cold and woke up Sunday morning with no voice when I had to sing at church. It was bad, like Peter Brady, the Brady Bunch bad. So, hey, George, welcome to the live stream, man. So, been working on my setup. Hey, Scott, welcome, man. Working on my setup here, and I still don't have it set up great, but I should be able to keep up with things, hopefully. So, yeah, man. Yeah, I'm excited. I don't know what we'll get into tonight. We'll do a little bit of slot car talk. New from Columbus, Tom Thumb is no more. Yeah. Hey, Chris, let me throw that up there. How do I remember how to do that? There we go. Yeah, man, our local, I don't know if you want to call it local. Yeah, they sold the property. I mean, that area of Columbus was growing. There was lots of expansion there. If you've ever been there, there's construction going on that road all the time. And I had a feeling the last time I was in there, they didn't seem too positive about what's going on. So somebody came in and offered them some money, and the track is up for sale. It is a King Blue. I don't know. I'm not super familiar with the wood tracks, but it's a great wood track layout. And they have it on sale for $15,000 on Facebook Marketplace. So, George, if you're looking for a wood track, man, it's an awesome wood track. I don't know. Maybe I could bring it up on the live stream. Let me see if I can find that link. I think my brother sent it to me on Facebook. No one wants to take over the business from what I read. Yeah, it's a big king. Yeah. No, and I don't think he was really interested in selling off the business. I think if somebody came in and made it easy for him, and that's what happened. It's discounted now to $12,000. Yeah, let me see if I can bring this up. Let's see here, Dusty Ford. Yeah, and I think that it there it is. View product. All right. So those are pictures of it. Yeah, it is discounted. Let me see if I can bring this up. Web browser. Yeah. So that's what you're looking at here. Let me see if I can scroll through some pictures. Yeah. So there's what it looks like. Yeah, I think that you're right, George, that they don't sell great. One, it's because they're hard to move. And when you take them apart, you set yourself up for a bunch of soldering and a bunch of work. And I'm sure that they never go back together quite as well as they came apart. So I would say that, most of them get built kind of in place, I would say. Maybe these don't. Everybody talks about how these are pretty easy to take apart. I've seen a couple videos where people have taken them apart. But, I mean, you're cutting that braid every time you pull it apart. And so that's creating a lot of soldering. Yeah, go for $1,000. Yeah, we had one here in Portsmouth, Ohio, south of us, about an hour, and it went up, and it was like $2,500. But it was a big tri-oval. But yeah, it's sad. I mean, Tom Thumbs didn't have a ton of like digital They had some big starter sets. It's where I got started. They had not a big selection of cars, but they had a handful of Carrera cars, a handful of scale electric cars. I think the last time I was in there, they had 2 slotted cars. So they didn't have a gigantic selection. They had a lot more RC stuff and some planes. And I think, years ago they had made the turn to remote control. I'm not sure that the slot car track was that busy. Yeah, they're hard to move. Ant, you just posted a link. Let me jump back on here. So we will come back to this. Pull that off. Where'd you post that? On your page? Yeah, maybe, I don't know, can you put the link to that in the... Good evening, by the way. So yeah, it's sad to see that shop shut down, but I'm not sure that they were really catering to the type of slot car racing that I'm doing with my brother and John Mark and my dad, and we're a digital Carrera track right now, so they were really catering to like the 124 scale wood track, the wing cars. Yeah, Ant, if you want to post that in the chat, I'm not blocking things like that, I don't think. And I can bring it up and share it on the screen, but so yeah, it's sad to see it go. It was a place where I could go. I've bought a couple cars from them. I bought my starter set from them. Got the track, kicked off shopping there. So now we lose a hobby shop that's within an hour. You should be able to just copy and paste the link. Yeah. I didn't want to sound like a jerk saying that, but is it posted on your Facebook wall? Ant? I'm not sure where you posted it, so I apologize. So yeah, it's like I said, again, sad, but I understand. It's probably a tough business to run right now. You're competing against Amazon. You're competing against big online stores. He didn't sell anything on his website, and I think to compete these days, that's what you would have to do. Yeah, we can try video chat. So I think the last time with Raul, the problem we ran into was he was listening to the actual YouTube channel in his browser, and then he jumped in on the chat. So yeah, we can try that. But George, you're moving, and the reason why you're moving is so you can gain more space because you want to build a wood track, right? So, which would be very cool. I think it would be awesome to build your own wood track. I don't know that in this space that I'm in, I'm not sure I would build a wood track right now. I think that I would probably build an analog track, and I've put a lot of thought about that in the last couple of weeks, about how to build a table that raises and lowers. We might have to lower the existing table to give us a little more space, but I think it would be cool to have an analog and a digital track, 2 different layouts. But it would be fun to have a wood track. I just don't know that I have a problem. Chris, Robbie's Hobbies. 132nd slot car. I have not been to Robbie's Hobbies. I think John Mark has, and said they had a pretty good selection of cars, so I need to check that hobby shop out. It's a little further north, probably a lot closer to you, Chris, because I think you're on the north side of Columbus. Is it like Clintonville area, I think? Search Lunch King. Okay. Yeah. Let me see here. Yeah, George, the only thing I'm worried about is hopefully we don't have any delay, but I can't I can't promise anything. So I invited George to jump in on the chat for a few minutes, see what's going on there. High Street, several miles north of OSU. Okay. Maybe closer to Worthington. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I did copy and paste. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. It should tell me when you're coming in. Lag? You having problems? Okay, well, you're all right. You don't have to jump in if you're having lag issues. Yeah, I'll have to get up there, Chris, and try it out. I've heard good things. He has a lot of different stuff that he carries, right? He's just not slot cars. Okay, yeah, Beachwald area. Yep, very familiar. So it's not too far. So it is right on High Street. Cool. Yep, familiar with that area. All right, well, I can turn that. Oops. So if anybody wants a Blue King track, it's for sale on Facebook, and we'd love to keep it in Ohio. I would love for it to be closer. I wish I had space for it, and I might talk to them about buying it. But I think they're misinformed on what that track is actually worth. Yeah, a ton of stuff, old and new. Yeah, cool. There's a hobby shop over in Dayton. They carry a little bit of Carrera, a little bit of Skelectrics. I think a couple of their brands. Ninko. They still have some Ninko left over. Haven't been over there, but a few people. Yeah, the Lunch King track is amazing. Thanks, Dave. Welcome to the live chat or the live stream. So since we're kind of on the subject of wood tracks, what are some great tracks out there? I think his printing business keeps the hobby shop going. Yeah, I could see that. Again, you got this stuff. There's such thin margins on this stuff. You have to move a lot of. I've done some research. After I built the track, I was ready to open a slot car hobby shop, and there's some margin, but I think to make it worthwhile, you really have to move a lot of product. So, I talked to a couple places about being a distributor. There were some places that didn't want to talk to me, that never returned my emails or calls, and then there were others that were willing to talk. So, your own build. Yeah, George, you went down to see Harry. I think he's in Missouri, right? And took a look at his track and came home ready to build your own wooden track. Lunch King. Okay, so I got to go look that track up. Should I look it up on YouTube? Lunch King? Lunch King. King slot car. Oh, okay. Yeah, we talked about that the last live stream. Yeah, that track is incredible, but that is a digital track. It's not a normal wooden track. If you've watched some of the other videos about it. Yeah, Ant, I would agree. That is an amazing layout. The guy is fantastic at doing scenery. Very interesting. Yeah, Dixon. Yeah, that's very, very cool. Very cool track. I saw a video. I'm trying to remember when it was. Yesterday, today, on my lunch hour maybe. That was a pretty nice wood setup. I mean, what do you guys think of Electric Dreams' wooden track? It seems. It's pretty competitive. Obviously, the racing there is. They've done a lot of hop-ups to that track, I think. When that race stops, they know exactly where it registers, exactly where every car is. So I'm curious to know how they did that. If they soldered a bunch of different relays that get triggered, and then they know exactly the last relay that was triggered. I don't know how they're doing it, but it seems like their computer program is really keeping track of a lot of information. Yeah, and a lot of attention to detail. That guy, his nephew has a podcast or a YouTube channel that covers other things, but he did a couple of videos with his uncle who owns that track that does a nice, Cloverleaf has a nice race. That's in Michigan. Is that right? Those guys do like a 24-hour race and sponsor it. I remember Cincy Slots. I'd not met the guy at Cincy Slots. I've been watching his live stream. They race on Thursday nights and have had some great, pretty competitive races. It's been fun to watch. Greg, I think is his name. But I know that he got an invite to go up there to a big race at Cloverleaf. And it was like a team race, which is there's a video out there that's a few years old. I think it was before the pandemic, which I thought was really, really cool and a neat thing to do. So yeah, the Cloverleaf guys, they really know. They're really great at tuning cars. They build some fast cars. So it was really neat to see. Yeah, Bruce, not Greg. Thanks, appreciate that. My apologies, Bruce, for calling you Greg if you happen to listen to this podcast or this live stream, which I doubt that you will. But if you've been on Bruce's website, he posted on Facebook yesterday or a couple days ago that they got a ton of cars in. He's been posting pictures and putting them on the website. And there's a bunch of NSR Porsche 908s out there that it's everything I can do to not order them. So, yeah, there's a lot of great cars in that collection. It seemed like it was one of everything that was made in the last 10 years. It's a huge list of cars. So, another thing I wanted to bring up is, has anybody seen Sunday Slot Cars video basically making fun of me? That he tricked me with the Mario and Luigi or Mario and Yoshi slot cars that somebody built. And I thought they were new releases coming from Carrera, which I thought would be pretty cool, I guess. I thought they would do really well, but he made a YouTube video making fun of me. And the thing that he got wrong was he called me a professional, and I am far, far from being a professional. Yeah, and he posted a video. Actually, he just posted a video I just watched right before a game jumped on the live stream about his inventory, and he mentioned that he's going to have a Black Friday sale. And so he looked like he had a lot of great cars. So I don't know if you're in Canada and, you watched that video. Yeah, it was silly. Totally making fun of me. And I'm not sure why Billy decided to pick on me, but it's all good. I have a sense of humor, so I can laugh at myself. And I felt kind of stupid that he tricked me. So what cars are you guys working on right now? I have been rebuilding my GT40. Okay, my camera, the lighting is I'm a little off tonight. I feel a little red. But yeah, my GT40, I broke the front end. I damaged it, hit it pretty hard into the wall. And so I had to put a new chassis on. Okay, hang on. George. Hey, there you are. Let's see.
Hey.
How's it going?
Oh, pretty good.
I don't need. Let's get rid of that guest and that guest. Nope. There we go. Hey, no. How's the delay?
A little bit.
A little bit? Yeah. Hey, Clint, welcome to the live stream.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
So we'll jump in. I know that you're getting ready to build a wood track once you move to your new house because you've got some room. So, like, have you found anything that you're going to maybe model it off of, or have you started thinking about the design?
Not at the moment. I think I want to do an oval, but I'm not sure. When I went to Harry's, when I did the oval on his, he's got a 16-foot by 5-foot wide track, so it's pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like for the type of racing he's doing, like those beach racers and things like that, an oval, and that's what you've been building, right? So I think
he does a lot of. So he does a showdown series, which are 132nd cars, and they're really molded after the raceway that he grew up on, which was in Michigan, which is called Highland Park Raceway.
Okay.
So a lot of that era, from like even jalopies, you'd call them, from like the 50s, 60s, all the way to like 70s, 80s. He really likes the American car.
Yeah.
That's why he really pushes in the slot car world for the American iron, because not too many Europeans, make the American iron because they don't sell well there, but yet they have those Carrera ring warriors that are the oldest mold and sell fantastic because everybody buys them.
Yeah. So everybody getting? I've got a few people sending me messages saying that they are getting is it a delay or is it just feedback? Anything, guys?
It could be delay. I think there's a lot of delay.
Okay. Yeah. So
I don't think feedback, but because I don't have my speaker on, I have these headphones.
You got your headphones in.
Shouldn't be any feedback. Is there any feedback? I don't have the YouTube on because you hear that, so
yeah,
I'm
that would be
trying.
bad. That's what I felt like we were getting from Raul the last time we tried. So yeah, I guess you're so committed once you build a wooden track. You're getting double voices.
Yes.
Yeah. So once you decide on a layout, you're married to it for a long time.
Yeah, you can, from what I've been told, if you use copper tape, you can kind of like not commit to it. But once you put the braid, you kind of commit to the setup, from what I understand.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, George, I'm gonna pull you off here since everybody's complaining about the feedback.
It's not working.
Yeah, I don't.
So it's all right. It's all good.
The program I'm using should make it easy, and it's not. So it will catch up some other time. All right, I'm super disappointed that I can't bring people on, and why is it causing a delay? So mix minus should be working in the board. I don't know. When I test it offline, it works fine, but it's probably because nobody else is listening on the other end. So I'll save you guys the hassle of having to listen to the feedback. Sorry. Anyway, where were we? So we can continue it in the chat. So yeah, you're kind of committed when you. It's all right, man. Don't sweat it. Listen, if I take this YouTube channel too seriously, then I'm doing it for all the wrong reasons. This is about getting to know some guys that share the same passion and enjoy slot cars like I do. So that's what this channel is all about. It's definitely not. I'm not trying to replace my job. I'm too good at my other job to rely on this. So, but it makes it fun though. Yeah, thanks, Clint. I appreciate you guys being patient with me. So yeah, you're committed and married to a wood track. Once you design it, you're kind of stuck there. So, and which is what I love about the plastic track. And I'm dying to get my hands on some of the Polycar track. I would love the 4-lane starter set. It would make a great test track. Yeah, you're right, Duvall. Nothing is plug and play. Even though Ecamm, it says, it should make this whole thing easy. Maybe it's because I'm running my audio output from the board too. So I'll do some more testing offline, but I'll get it figured out. People do this every day in live streams, so I know that it works, right? So, but I want to get my hands on some Polycar track. I'd love to get my hands on that 4-lane starter set. I keep waiting to see when it starts shipping. I actually did a brave thing and reached out to Polycar on their Facebook page after they released that it was coming soon. I was like, I would love to test that, build a test track and give my feedback and give you an honest review. I mean, I don't think people need to review a polycar track. I think everybody knows that it's grippy and it would be great. But I am curious to see how easy that is to go 4 lanes, and it just seems like it would be fun. So, and we wouldn't have to chip every car. It would give us an analog option. Although I have been talking to George about possibly working a deal down the road, so maybe that'll happen. So yeah, I was asking like, what cars you guys working on? I rebuilt my GT40, my slotted. Excited to get this back on the track. My brother, he's probably not watching, but if he is, just in case, this is going to take the track record, buddy. Just preparing you. That will be a great to get a 4-lane when it becomes available. Excuse me. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great setup. I think it will be very popular, especially for people who have a room. Like for me, I had this large basement. I have a great big attic that is full of junk right now, but it wouldn't take me long to get it cleaned out and set up another track. We just might freeze in the winter and fry in the summer. So, Duval, let's see what Clint said. That's the trouble with the Carrera. I see someone else lay out and then modify mine. Okay, so yeah, I think there's a lot of great layouts out there, and every time I watch a video, I'm like, ooh, I like how that turn, like this S turn in the layout, and it starts making me revamp mine in my head. I'm really happy with the way the layout is working right now. We're going to stay with this layout for a while and try to get some more laps in before the only thing I am extending it. When my brother comes over the next time, he's got some straights that he's donating to the cause. So we'll get the track done, but it's close. Let's see here. Duval, you said, I'm still having power issues on my track when you don't use it for a few days. It's in a garage and it's not sealed. I feel like I'm having weather issues. So I think that humidity, excuse me. Sorry. Humidity could be a problem for you with that track because plastic will expand and contract. So if it's getting some temperature change, that could cause some separation. The Carrera track is stainless, so that's the nice thing about that is you shouldn't have to deal with rust, but it could play havoc with some of your connections. And then, I mean, obviously you got to clean it really good. And that I noticed that what happens with my brushes is if I don't really clean it, my track, it gets a little dusty being done in the basement. If I don't clean it before I start running cars, the brushes pick up a lot of that dirt, and then it causes problems electrically connecting. So that's just kind of my 2 cents. What I've discovered. Chris, if I was starting now, I would go with the polycar track. Yeah, I'm way invested into Carrera, and so is John Mark and my brother Dusty. Cars and track. But I love the layout. I have no issues or problems. I wouldn't complain. I guess when I jumped into digital, I didn't think about the cost of chipping cars that are not Carrera cars. I've got a guy that keeps posting just in the last day or so on all of my videos, and I don't know where he's from. Off the top of my head, I don't know his username. But he keeps beating me up a little bit about that slot cars are for low-class people. That's it, me paraphrasing what he's saying. But he's talking about how you shouldn't run slotted cars on Carrera track, or you should only run, what cars are made for the track. And I'm like, there are only really 3 types of tracks. So you're saying anything that's not Carrera or Scalextrics or Polycar should be ran on a wood track. And I don't want to get into argument with him, but some of his comments don't make a lot of sense to me. You can find the comments on some of my previous videos just here recently. He's been picking on me a little bit, but it doesn't make any sense to me because, like, I mean, you could be married to Carrera track, but it doesn't mean you're married to Carrera cars. And you can put a chip in just about anything as long as it fits. So I'm not. It doesn't make any sense. Let's see what else. That's what's good with plastic track. Yeah, I mean, I think that plastic track gives you flexibility. You can tear it down, you can set it up. You're moving, George, and you're tearing your track down, and like tearing your scenery down was pretty painful, but taking your track apart's not painful. Hey, Lionface, welcome to the live stream. Duvall, you're in Florida, right? Cool. Oops, sorry. And yeah, I think Georgie, I think he was saying that he has loss of power when he fires up the track. So Chris, your old house had a room for the slot cars. Your new house and 2 puppies. We were talking about a drop ceiling for the slot cars. Okay. There are a couple of videos out there on YouTube that guys have built tables that lower in their garage, and then one is like in a basement. And I've watched they've made them mechanical or electric, and it just comes down out of the ceiling, gives them a table. They put legs on the bottom of it and go, and then when they're done, they just bring it up into the. So if you were short on space, yeah, you would have to do that. If you don't have a room that you can dedicate, that's the beauty of my basement is my wife is not going to use it for anything. She doesn't even like to come down here. So, especially now that I built a slot car track. But I had FaceTimed with both of my kids today, and they were both like, "Hey, Dad, we'll be home in 10 days. Are we doing family race night?" So my kids are looking forward to racing on the track when they get home. Use Inox to clean rails. Good product. Okay. Thanks for the recommendation, George. That's why I started the sim racing rig for backup. I'm not familiar. Sim racing, SIM racing rig. I'll have to do some research, Duvall. Thanks, man. So I apologize if I pronounce your name wrong, Phineas. All options open when using Carrera track. Don't rush into Polycar. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would rush into Polycar for is just to run analog cars, right? And I know that there's ways around that. I've talked to George a lot about the tech slots box and adding that to the track, and that's a viable option. It would be great. The problem is when I run analog, I only have 2 lanes, 2 slots, right? So it would be nice to have a 4-lane track to do some analog racing because most of the time there are 3 people or 4 people racing on the track at any given time. Most of the time. Hey, Travis is in the house. Welcome to the live stream, Travis. How are things across the pond with you? Hey, I really enjoyed the Star Wars. That's a great find. I remember when that slot car set came out, and I wondered whether they'd be really top heavy and how well they perform. But the X-Wing was a pretty quick slot car. I was impressed. Let's see here. Sorry for the typing issues. My wife told me I need to go back to school. It's okay, Chris. Man, I fumble over my words all the time. That's funny. No sense. He needs a therapist. Yeah, I mean, I can't decide whether he's. I actually sent a message to Dave today, Dave Kennedy, after watching his live stream catching up with his live stream from Sunday. And I was like, man, do you have to deal with trolls? I don't know how to deal with. Do I just delete the guy and move on and forget about it? He's not being mean to me. He's he just he's not making a lot of sense. And I'm like, I don't want to distract the rest of my channel and the people who pay attention to my channel. I don't want them to be distracted by him. If he had some good things to say, but the things that he says, they just don't make any sense to me. So just being a snob. Hey, Don, welcome to the live stream, man. Yeah, see, that was one of the comment on one of my videos, Travis, I'll throw yours up here, is he was saying that, different tracks draw, power differently, and, putting a non-Carrera car on a Carrera track is wrong. I'm like, what's wrong? I do it every day. So there's nothing wrong with doing that. You might not agree to do that, but there's nothing wrong with it. And so I'm like, my channel's open to everything. Like, I'm open to trying different cars. If I was locked into only Carrera cars, I might get bored with that pretty quick. But man, get a chance to run an NSR or slotted, or even just working on those cars. They're fun. I love the chassis and how they're different, and learning to tune different types of cars. That's what makes the hobby fun. So, that's what's good about the deep guide slot on Carrera. Yeah, I as long as I put a chip in it, I've run everything that we've been able to put a chip in without any problems. My brother has a slotted LMP car that does not run well on the track, and it's all about the guide. It has this tiny little guide, and it does not run well. Let's see. It was easy. Run whatever you like as long as you're having fun. Yeah, that's what I thought, Lionface. I thought that it was just a ridiculous thing to say. Like, how in the world, how do you say something like that? I don't want to call the guy out. Again, it's not my nature to be a jerk. If it gets too much, I'll just delete the comments. This is probably going back to who was having problems with their Duval. Were you having problems with your track? Yeah. So Duval was having problems, and this is in response to Duval. I believe that George does he have power taps? Yeah, I believe Duval does have power taps. I think we've talked about it before. Let's see, Chris. But you can easily run 4 lanes with Carrera Digital. You just need more track. Fair statement. Yeah, I don't know if with my layout, it would be an awesome layout, but I'd have to double probably the size of my table to fit a 4-lane layout like I've got in 2-lane. My 2-lane it's a great layout. I'm not gonna lie, it's fun. It is a lot of fun, and I wish all of you could come try it out. That would be great. So, hey, Chris, thanks for jumping in on the live stream. Love it. The benefit of running another brand on a Carrera track is the extra power boost it would receive due to 14 4-volt output makes the other brands fly. I would agree with that. Like, I had to calm the slot down the first time. I about destroyed this GT40. I cannot run this at 100%. I drop it down to about 80, and this thing can fly and probably hold the track record running at 80%. But yeah, you're right. John Mark is like, yeah, that ain't happening. Yeah, we're not smart enough to run the track at lower voltage. Save our cars. And when you are the king, reset them. I have the same issue when I'm not using it for a few days. My setup is in the basement. Yeah. Yeah, so Travis, you make a great point. I think that Carrera track, it's easy to work with. It snaps together well. The clips do a pretty good job of keeping it together. You can create a layout on the fly. You can change it every day if you wanted to. Which, Travis, I feel like you've changed your layout a ton just over the last 6 months, and that's the beauty of that. So we were talking earlier about a wooden track and how you're locked into that. And I think it would be, I would love to have a wooden track. I think it would be fun. It would be fun to run, like the 124 scale or like the 125th, the custom built stuff, the scratch built things. I think it would be fun to have a wooden track to do that on. And it wouldn't have to be a gigantic wooden track, but you have to have space. And I think that with the plastic track, the way, the curve radiuses and things, you can usually get a lot more track in a smaller space with it. So yeah, it's fun. Yeah, Chris, this is a great comment. When we race here, we're not racing for anything other than just having fun most of the time. But we will run some races. And the one thing that we usually do is always run the same brand of car. So when we're racing, we're always running Carrera. Once everybody has an NSR, we'll probably run a class of NSR. And when we're on the track, when everybody has a slot that's tuned and ready to roll, we'll probably run that. I'm dying to put together a Group C class. That's my next purchase, is a Group C car, and so that's the plan. But yeah, we try to stay in brand when we're running on the track together, just so that everybody is can stay pretty consistent. Because if the other guys are in, say, their GT class Carrera cars, and I'm running my NSR 908, I'm a lot faster. Now my brother can jump on with his Carrera Formula One, and then he's the fastest on the track. John Mark can throw his SRC 914 Porsche. That thing's a screamer. And if we're running Carrera and John Mark's running his Porsche, it's the fastest car on the track. So, that's what you have to deal with. And it's just smart. And that's how you keep people from getting angry and frustrated and yelling and screaming at your track, I guess, right? Yeah, man, thanks. I really appreciate that. I say this every week, but thanks guys for sharing my stuff, because my channel is growing. I'm almost to 1,000. I'm approaching 900 followers, and that's just insane to me. I started this channel back in May, and it's growing really fast, and not super fast, but it's growing, and I pick up people almost every day, and I just really appreciate it. And it comes from people like you, Travis, throwing my name out there, and you're a legend, man. Legend. It's fun. I really just enjoy your content. No track power now. I ran into power. So hey Nick, welcome to the live stream. You had a power issue last week. Did you figure out what it was? Was it your power supply or just some bad connections on your track? You don't have any power on your track. No track now. Yeah, you tore your track apart. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I have a feeling he will. Yeah, so I just kind of ignored him. I responded to one, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not wasting any energy on this. So, yeah, I've not played with a 4-lane Carrera. I think it would be fun. I think a 4-lane digital track would be a blast. But based on what we do in our layout, we all hang in the same lane until we need to pass somebody. And I'm afraid we'd have 2 lanes that would never get used in a 4-lane digital. But 4-lane analog, yeah, I'm all about it. I'm really happy with Carrera as the choice. Again, I would love to try Polycar. I think it looks grippy, and wouldn't have to buy tires. I'd just be able to use the rubber tires, and not that I can't do that on the track, but you throw quick slicks on, and you immediately take a second off your lap on my track just by switching to quick slicks. Yeah, so Lion Face, yes, you can, and that's what we do when we do race. Most of the time, we try to keep the cars even. And I will tell you, even in brand, there are some Carrera cars. I have a Porsche 917. It is a super fast Carrera car, And so we would always slow it down when I would race it against the other cars, the other Carrera cars, because it was just noticeably faster and performed better. It just hugs the track. Yes, so you can limit the car power to even it up. It's hard to tell. I mean, you just kind of have to play with it till you figure out, try to judge how fast they are in a straightaway. But sometimes it's just, some cars just perform better on the track than others. I have a Carrera, my brother has a Carrera GT-Y, the Ford Mustang, and we can't get that thing to perform well at all. We threw quick slicks on it, it made it better, but it still can't keep up with most of the other cars. So you have a variety even in brand. Let's see, Chris says if he had the money, he would go slot mods to build me a track. Still have Carrera track to be able to make a new layout. Yeah, the slot mods, is that the CNC track, sort of like MR Tracks out of Australia? I'm way past you. Are you talking about the YouTube channel? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Travis and Dave. They are definitely the hobby leaders. Great voices for the hobby. It's obvious that people appreciate Dave's news, keeping us all informed. And it just reminds me of how great the hobby is right now. I mean, the hobby is fantastic right now. There's so many great cars coming out from all different brands. We are very, very fortunate. So, Nick, combination of issues, I believe. I only have 2 power taps for about 100 feet. My rails have some crap on them. Okay. Fair enough. I think you know what your issue is. I will tell you, I think I have 110 excuse me, 110 feet maybe, and I have 3 power taps. I have no issues anywhere on the track with power. At 2, I had a couple spots that you could just feel the car slow down a little bit, but it wasn't bad. But adding the 3rd might be a big help for you. Nick, I agree. I will probably add a variable power supply. There's one on Amazon, $49. It's what Harry Wise uses, and if it's good enough for Harry, it's good enough for me. So, Don, old desktop computers, ATX power supply, that is an easy conversion to run a track at any voltage with a lot of amps to spare. Cool. I never thought about, it's pretty much the same thing, a computer power supply. And so the Mustang needs to lower the body, sits too high. It doesn't look like it sits too high, but you're right, George. It does seem to have some issues with that. I feel like the front end the guide's a little out of the slot. It needs to sit a little lower. So Chris, that's the Pro Max or what it was. That's a full custom track. Nice. Yeah, man. Good advice. George knows what he's talking about. Area 51. He's a very good hobbyist. I would call him a professional. Even the guy that was trying to call me. This may be controversial, but my track is painted with latex paint. This increases traction as it is rubber on rubber. It's also smoother. Chris, I don't, no controversy for me on that. I've asked a lot of questions about painting the track. I think that the people who want to go for that concrete look, it's perfect. Massimo, his channel, MP Slot Car Space, Massimo has painted most of his just because that's what he wants with his scenery. And he has talked about how it's increased traction. And, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a lot of work because you got to tape off all the rails and you've got some work ahead of you. But I think that it looks good. Doesn't bother me that you paint the track. I think it's great. Yeah, exactly. It is what you like. No controversy there. Yeah, I'm not into telling people what they can and can't do, man. It's your track. You own it. Have fun with it. That's the beauty of this hobby. we all get to have fun racing cars when we can't afford to race the real ones, like all the great stuff I saw at SEMA. Fantastic. Excuse me. Harry has lowered the Carrera cars on his videos. Yeah, I've watched. It's not easy, but it's doable on Carrera cars. Yeah. So yeah, Chris's was Carrera track. Clint, you were asking that question. Yeah, painting Carrera. There's some good videos out there on painting track. I think Massimo actually put one out talking about painting his track. Yeah, I agree. I think painting it looks good. It looks really good. That using it, like a gray to make it look more like concrete or, like a real racetrack. It really I think it makes the borders pop visually. Yeah, whatever floats your boat. Yeah, good stuff. So yeah, I do have a couple plans for my layout, but nothing crazy. Adding a check lane or two to give me like 2 or 3 check lanes. Also, I'm extending this inner. There's an inner turn. I'm adding a couple of lane changers. I'd like to have a few more double lane changers so that we can have a few more passing places. There's a couple natural passing places that do not have lane change lanes right now, and so changing that. So yeah, good stuff. Would you guys suggest running power to a block and then split from there? Nick, that's a good question. I did not do that. I just ran jumpers from the computer on the Carrera track to different locations. I just basically counted out and split the track in fourths. So I've got 3 taps. And so I tried to keep them even throughout the layout. That was really the only thing I was concerned with, but I did not run it to a block. And then, I guess if your layout's really permanent, that might be pretty easy to do. I have a dog that runs around underneath the table, and I hate to light him up. He'd rub up against the power block someplace. But yeah, and George says yes, you can. So yeah, there's no reason why you couldn't. It's all electricity, how it works. And I'm sure there are probably some companies that make some nice, let's see, Slot Car Corner. Do they have track building materials? Are they the website that sells, like you can get braid there and things like that? I think they have blocks that you can buy. They have like a wiring kit. Chris is retired. Congratulations, man. So you got all kinds of time to work on your track. Fair enough. Yeah, I would say that's probably a neater way to do it. I mean, I can visually see, I'm looking across to my track, I can visually see my jumpers going across my carpet because I didn't run it under the carpet. I was kind of in a hurry when we put them in. I could have taken my time and buried them and not seen them, but I haven't done that yet. Maybe one day. So yeah, I think that's track wiring was something I was a little nervous about at first. I didn't want to have I don't want to get shocked or electrocuted. So I was a little nervous about it, but it's really not that big of a deal. You just turn the track off when you're working on it. Don has 5 cats, and it's just a race to stay alive. Don, I have to tell you, we had an indoor, well, he wasn't an indoor cat. He was an outdoor cat that was getting old, so we moved him in, and he kind of took over the basement, and he passed away a few months ago. But he would leave his remnants, his hair, on my track, and it used to drive me crazy. So, but I imagine cats probably love to chase the slot cars. Louis, he was just a little too old to do that. Yeah, add it to the list. Professor Motor. Maybe it's Professor Motor that I was thinking of that has the track building materials, like braid and things like that, like for building a wooden track. So, but those would work the same, that they have those blocks for wooden track. You could easily use that for your jumpers. It just might get expensive. So that's great. Thanks, Clint. Appreciate that. Yeah, Nick, add it to the list. Yeah. Our slot car lists keep getting longer and longer. I want these cars. I want this additional track. Let's build another layout. I want a wooden track. It's how every hobby goes, right? I'm not a fan of electricity. Nick, me either. I got shocked pretty good when I was a kid. So, yeah, I don't like to mess with it if I don't have to. Some people, they're not scared of it, but see, what slot car brands can be chipped for Carrera Digital now? Well, I mean, if you're brave enough to solder, as long as it fits under the body, you can chip just about anything. Now, I would say that there's probably some issues with some of the real hot motors. I wouldn't expect the Carrera track to handle, 40,000 K motors or anything like that. I would stay away from that. But any slot car, Scalextrics is pretty easy to chip for Carrera now with DPR and that Carson chip, and the FT Slot Technic, I think is how it's pronounced. Chip is really small, so you can fit that in a lot of different cars, Phineas. So I've chipped NSR, I've chipped slotted SCR. What else have we put chips in? I've seen people put them in Revo slots. So I'm not sure there's anything that's not, 1/32 scale made to run on home tracks that you couldn't put a chip in right now. Now, F1 cars are probably tough unless you buy a specific chip made for it. Just there's not a lot of room under the body. It's not that you couldn't chip it. It's just not a lot of room. But people have been chipping the NSR F1 cars, so there's plenty of room, or room enough. Sometimes you have to get creative. Not be afraid to drill a little hole in the chassis and to put the LED diode through. The one thing I would say is when you do that, just make sure you don't push it too far. I had a car. It was this one, a GT. When I installed the chip in this, the LED, which I realized the LED is not in this yet. It was dragging the track. I was like, wow, that car's making a lot of noise, and it was the LED dragging the track because it was pushing through too far. But yeah, don't be afraid to chip anything. Fly, sideways, I think all of those. The MPC is another chip from Slot Invasion. Yeah, I think, let's see. The MPC didn't used to come with the leads soldered, and I ruined an MPC chip because I got it too hot trying to just solder the leads on. I'm not great at soldering. It's something I need to improve on. So, but I believe it ships with the leads pre-soldered on now. So that makes it a lot easier to install. That chip is a little bigger, but I think it'll do 1/32 and 1/24. Correct me if I'm wrong, George, but I think that there's an option for one. The little slot Technic chip is 1/32 only, I believe. I don't think it'll handle the voltage of 1/24 scale Carrera cars. So it's something to think about. Yeah, man, this is all, again, I always talk about this. I'm a beginner. I've been in slot cars less than a year. I started building my track in late February, early March of this year. So this is all knowledge that I've picked up watching Travis's channel, Massimo's channel, Dave's channel, Boone's channel, Johnny Hobbies. There's Harry Wise's channel, George's channel, Area 51. There's a lot of great channels with a lot of great content out there that if you don't know how to do it, you can find a video that more than likely will show you how to chip a car. I posted a video out there on how to chip my NSR car, and maybe how I chipped my GT40. So, quick motor upgrade. A quick motor upgrade is the 132P Piranha. Yes, Chris, I own one of those. And no matter what car I put that in, it becomes the fastest Carrera car that I own. It's a great little fast car, or fast motor. And I think that would be a great motor to make your, like if you're going to run a stock class, because I think there's some variance, a pretty big variance in some of the Carrera motors. I think that my 917K Porsche has a little hotter motor than the rest of my Carrera cars. So the MPC will do 124, 18.5 volts. Yep. Yeah, I know that there's a Slock Technic 124 scale that will handle the voltage, but I think the one that's $42 from Slot Invasion or LEB or Professor Motor or whatever that you can get. I think the $42 ones are 1/32 scale. I run the old Pro X and just buying eBay cars and taking the chip out and installing in new cars I need to switch over. Yeah, Don, that's a great plan. I've swapped some Carrera chips out and put. I didn't have a chip for this car, so when I first ran it, it had a Carrera chip, which was really hard to squeeze into this car. But the Carrera chip worked, no problems. RMS is a great replacement for Carrera. Cool, that's great. But yeah, Chris, going back to your motor, that Piranha motor is a great motor, and I think it would make a great class motor. So if you were running a Carrera class and say that's the motor that everybody ran, I think you would have a lot of consistency in the class. Most as long as people were tuning their cars properly and having them prepped, ready to race. Billy, what did I miss? I don't know. We talked a lot about your video that you posted earlier. Dude, that totally deserved it. It was great. Thanks for the love. I figured if you hated me, you probably wouldn't have posted that video. So I'll take it as a compliment, man. But you got me. You got me. Like I said, though, the first mistake you made was calling me a professional. I am the furthest thing from a professional at about anything I do. So, but no, it was great, man. Thanks. Hey, thanks for the update, Billy. Also, the updates you posted earlier on your inventory. It was great to see what cars you had in stock. So, oh, you could be Amanda. I'm so sorry, Amanda, if it is you. I apologize. So, you've got me a mess. I don't know what to believe. I don't think Amanda would make a video making fun of me, though. So I think she's nice. Yeah, George. So George, just to fill you in, Amanda or Billy, somebody created a video making fun of me because they tricked me with the Mario and Yoshi Carrera cars, and I thought, wow, Carrera's releasing a Mario and Yoshi car in 1/32 scale. It was Billy. Okay, but this is Amanda. All right. Well, welcome to the live stream. I appreciate you guys being here. So, 8675309. Very good. Now we're going way back in the Wayback Machine. I'm talking 80s music. So, yeah, great stuff. So, yeah, go shop Sunday Slot Cars, man. They've got a bunch of inventory. They posted a video earlier about what inventory they had. If you're looking for specific Carrera digital cars, and they have some Evolution cars too. I think you have a pretty good selection, 124 scale, if I remember right. But yeah, thanks for the update. I'll probably share that video out. Appreciate it. So thanks. Link, please. A link to Sunday Slots. Yeah, Amanda or Billy, whoever it is, post a link to your store. Yeah, no worries. No worries at all. We'd love to support you if we can. So yeah, post a link out there in the chat. And if anybody is looking for those particular cars, it'd be great. All right, guys. I try to not take up too much of your time. I would sit here and talk about this hobby all night long. Is there anything you want to touch on before we kind of close up shop? We'll work on bringing in a guest. I would love to bring Travis in, George in, Raul in. Maybe we can get Dave Kennedy on here one day, and it would be great to even other guys. I mean, I noticed Garth is not on tonight. Some of the guys from Worldwide Slot Car Chat. Hey, Chris, welcome. You're welcome anytime, man. Understand when you got to go, but we appreciate you being here. Thanks. Nick, thanks, man. It was good to have you guys. Really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. If I hadn't anybody to talk to, this would be a really boring chat, a really boring live stream. Don, man, thanks. I appreciate that, but I have to admit to you, man, this is easy. I love to talk, so it's not difficult for me to sit here in front of the microphone. But I have had some feedback. People are like, change your background. We'd love to see your track in the background. So I'm trying to work on building another part of the studio where either I have a camera that I can move to out at my layout and do some testing during the live stream. But yeah, man, I really enjoy you guys being here. It's been great. Clint, thanks. Nick, thanks, man. Appreciate it. George, thanks. I would bring Amanda on as a guest. I don't know, Billy, I'd have to think about. He'd want to just make fun of me. But of course we would bring you on as a guest. I mean, mainly just to talk about, you guys do a lot of layout changes. I loved your Mario layout. Just buy a green screen. I've thought about that, but it's kind of, my lighting is tough down here in this room. So anyway, guys, thanks. It has been great to have you. I hope you enjoy it. If you like this content, hit the like. Give me a thumbs up. Hit the like buttons. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell so you get notified anytime I go live or anytime I post a new video. Working on a couple videos, man. Thanks, Lionface. It's great to see you guys. I appreciate you being here. Amanda, Billy, guys, appreciate it. Thanks. We're gonna sign off from Two Lines Speedway here in Chillicothe, Ohio. Guys, thanks. Take care.